and early on he was balling. Game 1, 9 points, 9 of 12, doing it's all over. Very aggressive. Nice.
What's up, my dudes and duets? As you can tell, Pacers lost. It was a close one, but it's total crap. So a common thing that happens is a lot of us think that the NBA is rigged and there's all these myths about it. And as much as I don't want to do it, we're gonna go over it right now. All right,
Stars get the calls.
okay, that one I kind of have to rethink just because, and if you really look at it, stars appear to get the calls, but that's just because they have the ball most of the time, so they attack the basket a lot more. So ultimately what it creates is they have more free throw attempts. And there's also crafty guys like James Harden. I mean, if you look at James Harden, some of the best free throw attempts guys in the league, the reason is because they're so good at making contact and so good at making it seem like they got fouled that they get the call. So that's why it seems like people like LeBron James get it. So I had to even, you know, kind of relax a little bit, go sit down, look at Basketball Reference and look at free throw attempts. And if you look at it, of course, James Harden is at the top. But guess who is so far lower? You would think LeBron would be in the top 5. LeBron's not even in the top 5. And what's even funnier is that when I look at it, I think LeBron had maybe 631 or 531 free throw attempts this season, regular season. And then you look right below him is Lou Williams with maybe like 40 less free throw attempts. That's Lou Williams to LeBron James. So that myth can get out of here. What's the next one?
Defense wins championships.
Yeah, right. It came from all our summer camps where all the coaches were telling us that we need to focus on defense. Defense was championships. But if you actually look at it, this myth is really false. So if you look at the last eight NBA Finals champions, they've been ranked on an average 8th in the league in defense. On offense, they were ranked 6th. So offense ends up mattering more than defense. But you probably already knew that. If you could use some just simple logic, you could probably be able to tell that if you end up scoring more points than the other team, you win. Championship is just social conditioning, something that a lot of coaches try to get their players into, to stop idolizing NBA players and get them to play the fundamentals of basketball. So what's the other myth?
College guys play harder.
What? This is another funny one to me. So every time I'm arguing with somebody about the NBA being a fun league, they always want to tell me how college basketball players play so much harder than the pros because they don't do it for money. And then they always show, look at the emotion in college. You want to know why they're showing emotion? Because they're not as good as the NBA. The NBA, you got to save your energy because you're playing 82 games a season. So a lot of times what happens with this fallacy is that people watch college basketball games, especially March Madness, because dude, the average person isn't really watching college basketball games throughout the season. They just wait till March Madness because that's actually one of the most unproductive weeks at work because everybody's trying to check their bracket. You look at college basketball players, you see them slap the floor and everybody's just yelling, and so they think that because they're showing so much energy into everything that they're doing, that they're playing harder. Now, if you look at NBA professional guys like Tracy McGrady when he was in his heyday, I mean, he did things that just looked effortless. Tracy McGrady had just this natural stance where he just looked like he was like, hey, what's up? What? Oh, I'm supposed to be playing? But when he moved on the court, you couldn't stop him. And so that's where the misconception with a lot of people that watch college basketball or that knock the NBA is they tend to think that college basketball players work way harder. You want to know something about effort? You want to know something about effort if it translates to the NBA? Look up a name, Jimmer Fredette. Yeah, I don't know how to say where is Jimmer Fredette in Chinese, but you know. Anyways, what's the next one?
NBA players can't shoot.
So this is another interesting one. So this is also another confirmation bias that tends to happen with people. So you always got that guy that he might have been decent in some small town in Ohio when he was in high school, and so he goes and puts on his Rex Pex glasses, goes to the YMCA, shoots a few shots, has a game where he hit 5 straight shots, and they ended up winning 12-9. And then now he's like, oh, well, I'm a pretty good shooter. And then he watches an NBA game, sees a guy miss 5 straight shots, and then he just says, NBA players can't shoot. No. You want to know how that's not true? This guy's nickname is White Mamba, and I'm talking about none other than Brian Scalabrine. Some of you may know what I'm talking about, but Brian Scalabrine played on the Celtics team that ended up winning the NBA title in 2000. That was 2008, right? Yeah, 2008. So he was riding the pine. He had played in New Jersey before, but anyways, just kind of riding the pine. But he was a guy that just had fun. And a bunch of people just started saying like, oh, Brian Scalabrine, I'm sure I can beat Brian Scalabrine 101. So this guy actually had a challenge where he started taking on average Joes that just wanted to take him on, and basically it was make it take it one-on-one, and he just destroyed him. I mean, even a radio station ended up having 3 of their guys, radio hosts, go against him. So 3-on-1, and this is what happened. That's the thing, is that these NBA players, the thing that you have to think about when they're shooting is they're not just there's no such thing as an open shot is a relative term in the NBA, because when you look at some of these guys, they're shooting all the time when they're in practice, when they're doing shoot arounds, and when they have to play a game, it's not that I've been shooting all my life, this should be easy. I should be shooting all my life, and I got a guy with a 40-inch vertical that's 6'5" with an 8-foot wingspan that has his hand in my face while I'm shooting. Of course their shooting percentage is not going to be as high as what you would expect it, but they are going against the best of the best in the world. So that's where that myth also needs to stop, is because sometimes people let that get into their head, thinking that, oh, NBA players aren't that good, you know, so they can't shoot that well. I'm sure I could beat them one-on-one. Yeah, you go ahead and try. The worst guy on an NBA bench can go and clean house at your local gym, no problem. All right, what's the last one? I don't got too much time. What's the last one?
LeBron James is an alien.
Bruh, get out of here. Get out of here. I mean, dude, what? I mean, come on. All you just gotta do is just train.
Oh my goodness, what is this?
Anyway, that does it for me, guys. Just had to tell y'all about some of those myths that a lot of people talk about with the NBA. I enjoyed the NBA, even though my Pacers ended up losing. I know that was a close one, but it was a very exciting game. And I love the sport of basketball. That's why I keep working on it. What you see in the background right now is me recording what I actually record every day, which is my weigh-in, as I'm cutting down and still working on my vertical, because basketball is still one of my favorite sports, and I'd like to be able to dunk this year. But, so just remember, next time you're starting to find yourself around somebody that's a conspiracy theorist that's saying the NBA's rigged and all these nonsensical things, just tell them to relax, put the tinfoil down, and enjoy the game of basketball. Just enjoy watching it. Enjoy watching what these great players are doing, and keep calm. But hopefully you enjoyed that video and you were able to find some myths that you found a little bit stupid, found a little bit silly. What are some myths that you guys tend to hear about the NBA or just sports in general that you find absolutely nonsensical? Put them in the comment section below and I'll be glad to hear some of them. But that does it for me here. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe because it's cool on SportsCy. And if you're already subscribed, you're a doer, and I appreciate everything that you do. I'll catch y'all next time. Thanks for checking me